Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'll lead you step by step through the ABRSM Theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets and you can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also access information about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to make the best use of your time on exam day when you're in the exam room. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it all there. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. And now we're going to continue with this sample paper Y for grade 2. If you turn with me to page 3, we'll look at question 6. So this is a free sample paper just giving you a look at how the newly revised exam paper will now appear. If you want to know how to get that, there's a link to the ABRSM download I've put in the description box below. So always work in pencil, and that way if you make a mistake it doesn't matter, you can just rub it out. And whilst we're doing all these past papers for revision, it's ideal to just make all your mistakes now because you'll learn more thoroughly that way. So I suggest you have a go of this first and then we'll go through it together. So question 6 asks us to add the correct rest at the places marked with a star in these two melodies. So be careful, there are two separate melodies with two separate time signatures, so we need to think of each one differently. We need to make each bar complete. Now the important thing to think here, there are two aspects that we need to bear in mind. The first is the rule that every new beat requires a new rest, and we need to show where each beat falls in the way that we allocate these rests. We need to show the beginning of each new beat. We have to do everything we can to make it easy for the performer to read the music. There are a couple of exceptions, however that's the general rule of thumb. So we should have 3 beats in a bar, so we need to see what's missing here. We've got 1 beat, 1 crotchet beat, 1 quarter note, and with 2 beats missing. And so this is an example of where it would be incorrect to just put a minim beat rest. If you just did that and showed 2 beats rest, just filling the gap, that would be incorrect because each new beat needs a new rest, and so you would show beat 1, beat 2, beat 3 with crotchet beat rest. So we've got quarter note rests. So here, let's see what we've got going on here. We've got 2 half a beats, 2 quavers, 2 eighth notes, which makes a crotchet, 2 quavers, which makes a crotchet. We've only got 1 quaver here, so we're 1 quaver beat missing, half a beat missing, so there's a quaver or a eighth note rest. So here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We should have 4 semiquavers. I've answered the question in my head there. We should have 4 semiquavers. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3, each worth a quarter of a beat. We've got 1 quarter of a beat missing, and so we need to show that as a rest. That now makes a full beat. So that's that completed. Let's just check there's nothing else in the bar. We've got 1 beat there, 2 beats there, 3 beats there, so that's complete, yes. So now let's go on to the next one. We should have 4 beats in a bar. So here we've got 1 beat with 3 beats missing. Now what you can't do is add, say for example, a dotted minim, a dotted half note rest. At first glance you might think what you could do to show each new beat has a new rest, we could go 1, 2, 3, 4. However, there is the rule that so long as we don't cross over the halfway point of 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, what we can do is condense those into a minim or a half note rest there, just sitting on the line. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're showing each half of the bar to the performer. This last one we've got a whole bars rest, and so in actual fact, regardless of the time signature, what we would just do is do a semi-breve or a whole note rest. Those two are deceptively similar, and the way I remember it is the 4-beat rest hangs off the 4th line, just so you can remember which one's which. So there we go, that's that question completed. Let's move on. So question 7, we're asked to write as semi-breves or whole notes, so that way we don't have to worry about stems. The scales named below. We need to do D minor descending. We need to say which form of the minor scale that you've used. Now I always suggest that you choose harmonic minor for this grade. You only need to do one, and the harmonic minor is the simplest in the fact that you have the same set of notes going up and down. Ascending and descending, we have the same set of notes. That's not the case in the melodic minor, so I suggest you leave that till grade 3. So we don't need to use a key signature, but we need to add any sharps or flats. So the first job, let's just get the blobs in place. So we'll map out the scale of D minor. So I'm going to start on a high D because I need to come down. So if there's middle C, there's D. So I'm going to come down, space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line. Good boys deserve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now D minor has a key signature. It's related to F major, so it would have a key signature of B flats. However, we don't need a key signature, we need to add it as an accidental. So we need to find note B, D, C, B flat. If you find it difficult reading in this clef, it depends which instrument you're used to with what clef you play. You could just sketch the letter names. Ooh, a bit too sketchy there. Just to help you, and then you can rub that out afterwards. Whatever you can to make it easier for you to complete this accurately, just do whatever it takes. It doesn't take a second to just do that. So we know that's a B flat. Now we need to make this the harmonic minor form, and if you remember, you raise the 7th degree of the scale. Now be careful, because it would be incorrect to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It certainly doesn't have E sharps in it. However, this is with descending, so it's 8, 7, 6, 5. So 8, 7, it's the C sharp. So just be careful when you're descending to count backwards. Or alternatively, count from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and place the sharp before there. So that's that done. Now the next one asks us for A major with a key signature. We were in bass clef here, we're in treble clef here, so just keep your eyes peeled. So A major has a key signature of 3 sharps. You've just got to revise these. F, C, G. And then we're going to start at a relatively low A. Either way, we're going to have to use a ledger line. A, space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Every good boy says football, F, G, A. Just all these different things tell us we've done that correctly. And because the key signature is in place, that's job done, everything's complete, finished. So let's move on to the next question. So this question is perhaps the most obvious example of the new look of the exam paper since the revision of the layout of the paper. All of our performance directions and musical terms are now presented to as a multiple choice format. I'm not sure that that makes it any easier, because it's so easy to be misled if you're just scanning through quickly. So be very, very careful to read each definition. I suggest that you revise these by grouping them thematically. Don't forget, this is all of your grade 1 terms and directions and grade 2 collectively, so you need to combine those. So put everything that's to do with slow, everything to do with fast. You group it in any way that makes sense to you, whatever it takes to just learn these, because as you go on through the grades, there's just going to get more and more. So they've told us how to do this here in this first example. MP is mezzo piano, which means moderately quiet, so we tick that one. Just be careful that you don't get thrown off scent by any of these red herrings. So simile is in the same way. If you haven't had a go at these already, I suggest you press pause and just test yourself, and then come back and check it. It's always better to learn by your mistakes. It's a good way to revise, just to have a crack at it. So then lento means slow. So you would group that with, say, adagio, because both of those mean slow, and that would help you to link an association with those words. Now here we need to be careful on the application here, because it could look like a slur. However, it's note head to note head of exactly the same pitch. So that's a tie. However, be careful, because tie does not mean detached. Tie means hold for the value of both notes. So that's quite a sneaky red herring, because it is a tie, but that's not what a tie means. This is the proper definition of a tie, because we're combining the value of those two notes. So non troppo, next one, means not too much. Too much or very much, not quite the same. So just be careful you don't glance and make sure you get the wrong one. You need to make sure you get the right one. So here we go, maestoso means majestic. So a bit of revision there on our performance directions. That's the end of that question. We'll look at the next question in the next paper. I do hope that's been helpful to you. I hope it's helping you with your studies. I also hope that you're enjoying working through this. I'm certainly enjoying working through it with you. It's great to get to grips with this kind of info. If you can give me a like, that would be fab. And please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. Please do visit sharonbill.com and make use of all of the resource and information that's available to help you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.